They don't want to coming outside. But anyway, thank God for what it is here. We're going to give you back to President. This is now Dr. West.
Amen. We're just going to push it back this way. Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. Listen, this particular conversation, we're going to have this conversation. And then after this, then we're going to have Dr. Clayton Moore. He's going to lead us in a workshop. Our morning manna speaker is here in the person of our district moderator, Dr. Anthony Nixon. Can we give him a hand clap of praise? Before you and I introduce you, let me also publicly say this. I always like to make sure people know the story. So again, Wes is not responsible for Faith being here. It's even deeper than a Pastor Roberson. We were going to the WHW conference in California because we were following Reverend Anthony Nixon. We served together at Great Evergreen Missionary Baptist Church under the leadership of the late Reverend Nathaniel Whitney. And so we go to WHW. Reverend Nixon introduces us to Faith, and the rest is history. And so I want to publicly on this day let my friend know that there's a co-dedication. Hear me when I say this. I'm dedicating that doctorate to Pastor Roberson, and I'm dedicating it to you. I do not get that doctorate without you, brother. I am forever grateful. I love you. Pastor Kyle, do me a favor. I think I'm going to need another battery in this particular mic. So we're going to switch just for a second. Amen. He's going to change it out. There we go. There we go. Amen. And so, ladies and gentlemen, want to have this discussion on today. I invited Mr. Kurt Arnold to be with us. He is with the Clark County School District. Official title? Coordinator? Amen. I met him. I don't even know how many years ago we met, but we met, and I fell in love with him and the work that he does. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about adopting schools. Amen. And so, again, we have with us, and we're live. We're not going live with all of our morning sessions, but we are going to go live for this particular conversation. I thank you for being here. I want you to introduce yourself. You have some pastors here. We have pastors who are live. Let's have this conversation before the school year begins next week on why we as churches, pastors, youth ministry leaders, why do we need to adopt our schools? Amen.
Thank you, Dr. West, for inviting me today. I do come from the Clark County School District. I'm with the community engagement. If you've been here quite a while in Las Vegas, we used to be known as the School Community Partnership Office. We've gone through a kind of re-imaging of our department. So there's different departments within our unit, and I'm here today to talk to you about the community engagement, which is bringing in the community, especially faith-based groups, so that we can create a community within our community. We know faith-based groups offer a lot of support in their communities, whether it's food pantries, whether it's clothing closets, whether it's parenting classes, whether it's access to computers. maybe job skills, resume writing, all of those great things that faith-based groups bring in. We need to make sure that they're involved with the school district. Let's be real, we as a school district cannot educate our schools by ourselves. We need the community to come in and help. And that is there's a lot of different ways to do that. So I have information today that I'd like to share with you that talks a little bit about our department and who we are and kind of how to get involved. We find that a lot of people in the community want to get involved, they just don't know how. So we are kind of like the department that exists that nobody really knows about us. We try to get out and talk to various groups in the community. So finding a way that's best for faith-based groups, organizations, businesses, individuals, we can cover that with volunteer opportunities. So once you get your handout, there's information in here about who we are. And we serve as the bridge or the link between the Clark County School District and the community. So people come to us, they want to help, they want more information. We help facilitate a lot of that connecting and getting in where it needs help. We're not talking about huge programs. We're talking about basic needs that need to be met before children can come to school. So we're removing those barriers and allowing then those recipients to receive that information, those donations, those resources, so that they are in school. So on the front sheet, the very first part, it talks about who we are as a community engagement, and then it lists a couple different opportunities below. So the Focus School Project, that is our school adoption program. Dr. West is actively involved with that, with
We have two schools. We have adopted Parson Elementary, which is not far from here, and then we went outside of our radius because I was at a meeting and they didn't have an adoptee. So we also accepted Beth in their Torrey Pines area. And so we have two at this time.
Nice, good. So basic needs need to be met. Children have requirements, school supplies, clothing, food, all those basic needs that all of us have. And unfortunately, we have a lot of families in our community that struggle to provide those basic needs for their children. So we need the community to step in and help us with those things to, again, ensure that those kids are coming to school. So the Focus School Project, or the Adopt a School program, matches up anyone that's interested in helping if they want to adopt a school in their neighborhood, if they have some relationship with the namesake, if there are people that work at that particular school that they know, they want to have that link. It could be across the street. It could be anywhere. We need that support. So matching them up, finding out specifically from the school what their needs are. They're all different in all parts of the city. So you may have groups that need more school supplies or clothing rather than hygiene items or anything else that maybe could be provided. So having a conversation with the representative and then also with the school principal. So you hear exactly what the need is. You're not making a guess. You know exactly where their needs are for their students. And then finding a way for the business or the group that wants to get invited and involved to figure out strategies to help meet those needs. So if it's school supplies, conducting school supply drives. So sharing information out. We have businesses that involve their staff, but they also maybe have clients or patients where they can set a sign out, talk a little bit about the school and the fact that they're adopting, and then these are the items that we're collecting for that school. The fun part about this is being able to take those items that are collected directly to the school and be part of that distribution to the students. Then you see that joy on the children's faces as they receive that pencil case, the pencils, the backpacks, whatever the issue is, to them, that is a big deal. So having that full circle. So now you get to see the impact that you're making on the children's face and their enthusiasm. So it's an immediate feedback. That's where people really want to help. That was easy. That didn't take much effort on our behalf. What else can we do? So there's a number of things. I can kind of just talk a little bit about what we find that people want to help besides school supplies. The kids start to get older and they go into middle school. Their bodies start to change. The social structure starts to change. They need hygiene items. If you ever walk into a middle school, the smell when you walk in is powerful. So making sure that those kids have hygiene items. We get closer to the holidays. There's families that need help with food. So a lot of people will actually collect canned foods, items, easy to prepare kind of things for families to take home.
Can I share this with you?
Of course.
I don't know if you know this. We were blessed last year. We had a food pantry in Nehemiah. That food pantry is no longer here. That food pantry is now at Parson Elementary. And so we were having difficulty getting the students to come here and the teachers to come here. So we put the pantry there. So now people are able to bring canned goods to the church, and then we take them over to the school. So even when you talk about helping the students, what we did through our partnership, holidays, when we get turkeys, we allocate those to teachers. So then teachers are able to get full baskets. And one of the things I want to share with pastors, it's one thing to have children hug you and say thank you. It's another thing to have teachers really stop and say, Pastor, I want to thank you and your church for helping me put a meal together. And so the need is beyond the classroom. So again, thank you for allowing us to partner with you.
Thank you. That's great. Yeah, we need to start thinking about how we can do things strategically. We have people that want to offer opportunities for kids to go to field trips. Well, the only way they're going to get to field trips is with a bus. And so the schools need funding for buses. They just can't plan events away from where people live and expect people to get there because transportation's an issue. So bringing what's needed to them, that's strategic, that's great, that's where it's really making the impact. Christmas holidays as well. There's families that need to be adopted, or children too, that probably will not have Christmas gifts unless it's due to the kindness of people in the community. So adopting the families and providing like an angel tree opportunity. I'm sure you've done that as well.
Most of us in this room, we participate in Toys for Tots. So you're already, you're on the list, and if you all are not a part of Toys for Tots, please sign up. That's through the Marines, and that's a wonderful program. But when they're asking you how many people are you going to service, we go ahead and put on that list at least 2 classrooms. And then we're able to let those teachers know, tell those families they can come here and then get their Christmas items. So it's partnering, just using other resources to help our classrooms.
That's great. And then you get into springtime. There's Nevada Reading Week, which is around Dr. Seuss's birthday, usually the end of February, first part of March. Literacy is so important that the children in elementary school have those skills. Studies show that if they do not read well by 3rd grade, they're probably going to drop out and they're just feeding the prison line. So making sure that kids have access to books, but more importantly, see other adults that like to read. So going in and reading to the kids, sharing maybe one of your favorite books that you grew up with, or some book that maybe one of your children or grandchildren love to read, sharing that with them so they get to see that adults love to read as well. Then we get into field day. If you've never participated.
Can we go back to Reading Week for a second?
Of course.
This is how the dots are connecting. When people are asking, what is it that the convention does? What is it that the district does? This is the picture that I want people to leave with on this week. I want you to imagine children seeing us going to the schools wearing the same uniform. When the Raiders show up, people are looking for the black and silver. And those kids then leave and say, that's my favorite team. I don't know the name of the quarterback. I don't know the name of the running back. I just know the Raiders came to my school and they read to me. Can you imagine the impact we're going to have when they're able to go home and say, the state convention came to my school today. The district association came to my school today, and they sat and they read with me. In the same way, we have images of police officers until they come and become personable. It's the same thing with the preacher. There are kids who are just amazed when we walk into the classroom and they go, "You're really a preacher?" And I go, "Yeah. Let's sit down. Let's read a book." And so I want to let you know in advance, this is our district moderator, Reverend Anthony Nixon, Dr. Anthony Nixon. I believe I can say this on record. I know I have his yes already. For Nevada Reading Week, amen, we're coming in with not just 12 disciples, but we're going to work to have 70. And we're going into some schools 2 by 2. Let the church say amen. Amen. Go ahead, brother.
That's great. Again, seeing someone they don't know that shows that love of reading. And a lot of times these kids hear the information, they're hearing it from their parents, hopefully. They're hearing it from their administrators and their teachers. It just kind of after a while, it just goes in one ear and out the other. But if somebody that they don't know comes in and says the exact same thing, they're going to believe it. So it's a very impactful opportunity for you to really, again, ensure that children have that love of reading. Maybe it's a book they've never heard of. Maybe you talk about what it was like when you were growing up, but just giving them that experience and again, reinforcing the importance of reading.
Hold on, let me put somebody else on. I want to introduce you to somebody. This gentleman right here in front of you, this is Dr. Clayton Moore. Pastor Nixon pastors Pleasant Grove, the Grove Missionary Baptist Church. Dr. Moore pastors Second Baptist Church, which is our oldest Baptist church, correct? That's a very important church. He's also the director of our Congress for our state convention. I believe I have his yes. Watch this. People often wonder, watch where I'm going with this. People often wonder, well, what's the purpose of me paying registration? What do y'all do with that money? I'm going to put this out there right now. Can y'all imagine the looks on the kids' faces when we purchase books? We get upset because they're not reading certain books. Well, why don't we buy those books and put them in their hands? So again, I have him nodding his head. We're not only going to go into the schools with 70 servants, but we're going in next Nevada Reading Week, and we're going to put some books in their hands.
Yes. Great. That's wonderful. Thank you for that commitment. The other thing is field day. If you've ever been at a school when they had field day, it's usually like a wet day. There's, hoses and squirt guns and activities planned. That's another opportunity. A lot of these schools have fundraisers, so they'll have carnivals either in the spring or the fall. They also have trunk or treat, which have you done that one as well? Trunk or treat, where you have a vehicle that's decorated up and in the trunk there's candy and they come by and they get the candy. It's another way, again, to be that visible individual from the community that cares for these kids and wants to provide those opportunities and resources for them.
Now watch this. When you said the trunk or treat, can I introduce somebody else?
Of course.
Now she's going to wave at you.
Okay.
She is Lena Brass. She's going to wave. She's a trustee at she leads our Usher Auxiliary, but she's also a trustee at the Victory Missionary Baptist Church, which is another amazing ministry under the leadership of Dr. Sean Taylor. I want you to imagine this. She specializes in hospitality. I want you to imagine she made a trustee move. She got a van from Victory Baptist Church, and she took that van. Her and the ushers got together. They decorated that van, and they're passing out candy. Nice. I believe I have her yes already. That's how we moving, brother.
I like it. I like this.
Let the church say amen.
Amen. We can't forget our teachers as well. There's negotiations right now with their union and with the school district, and hopefully everything will get settled and everybody will be happy. But our teachers really take on more than just teaching in our classrooms. Anybody been a former educator? So you know what I'm talking about. So you give so much of yourself, then you give your time, you give your money, everything. So what we try to do is we try to get the community rallied behind us for Teacher Appreciation Week, but more importantly, all school year long, not just that one week. So the week is usually the first full week in May. We invite our community partners and our businesses to come in and offer discounts, special offers, which we can share then with our teachers. So they can go and have a nice dinner, 2 for 1, or they can stay in the hotel with a discounted rate, or they can go to the mom and the pop shop down the street and take advantage of an offer that they're having as well. But that really should happen more than just once a week. So we do have businesses that like to randomly show their love for our teachers. So when the teachers walk in and visit their mailbox, when they come in the mornings, there's a little treat in their mailbox with a little sign or a little sticker that says, "We appreciate you for all you do," pencils, gift cards, anything like that. So we want to make sure that our teachers feel that they're appreciated for all of the things that they're doing in addition to teaching for our kids. Yes, sir.
Amen. Amen. To those who are in our virtual sanctuary, we just want you to hear that we have, amen, a local church, amen, who didn't just have 1, but 3 trucks. This is about, listen, when we talk vision, when we talk about the purpose of our state convention, our district association, we're going to give you vision over the next 3 days, but not like you're used to hearing it. And so you are hearing vision right now. When you talk about teacher appreciation, I'm going to put another pastor, I'm going to put him, I'm going to take his yes. I just feel in my spirit I have yeses in the room. And so you also have Pastor Marvin Holliday. He's a Raider fan. I'm working on him. Because you also are part of Deliverance. It's okay. But no, all jokes aside, Pastor Marvin Holliday, he pastors an amazing church. Amen. Captives Free Christian Center. For years, they have had an amazing children and youth ministry. I'm going to get his yes because normally what we do for Teacher Appreciation Week, we'll bring in a caterer and we'll do breakfast. And what's cool about the breakfast is they'll prepare the food, but I'm there along with our education team and we serve it. And Pastor Holiday is going to make my job easier, lighter. He's going to make the load lighter because he's going to join me. And I have his yes already. See, this is what y'all feeling me. Y'all see how easy this is? When we just roll up our sleeves, because the purpose of this week is talking about ministry outside the 4 walls. Well, Pastor, I thought we was talking about evangelism. Well, listen, you don't have to do a full sermon for somebody to see you, the church. After you've brought in breakfast, after you fed them, it's a good chance they're going to ask, now, where do you preach?